Hi everybody, this is Lindsay at windingrowcrochet.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute snowman tote bag. If you like this tutorial, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. For this project, I am using Red Heart Super Saver worsted weight yarn. This is a weight number 4 yarn. I'm going to be using red and orange and white for the snowman, and then charcoal for the buttons. You are also going to need scissors, a yarn needle, and then a size H 5mm crochet hook or a hook that meets the gauge. To get started, we are just going to make a slip knot and insert our hook, and we are going to chain 43. Once you have 43 chain, we are going to half double crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then we're going to half double crochet in every chain across. For this side, for right now, we're going to end up with a total of 42 half double crochets, and then we will turn around the other end and work along the other side of our chain. When you get to the end of the chain, we are not done with row 1 yet. What we're going to do is turn so that we can work down the opposite side of our starting chain. So yarn over, insert your hook into the same chain that we just worked, and make a half double crochet. Find the next chain and work a half double crochet into that. And we will continue half double crocheting into the opposite side of the starting chain all the way till the end. The row will have a total of 84 half double crochets. When you make it all the way to the beginning of this round, I guess it's not rows, it's rounds, because what we are going to do is slip stitch to the very first half double crochet to make this a round. So I'm finding that first half double crochet and just making a slip stitch. So that is round 1. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to half double crochet in every stitch across. I do not count my turning chain as a stitch, so you want to make sure you work a half double crochet into each stitch. We are turning our work because that is going to make our seam on the side of our bag straight. So just half double crochet in every stitch along this round. Once again, once you make it all the way around, we are going to slip stitch to the first half double crochet. Feel free to add a stitch marker here if you have a hard time finding that first stitch. And then we're just going to continue to repeat row 2. So we're going to chain 1 and turn and half double crochet in every stitch around. You are going to continue repeating row 2 with the red. If you like the shorter bag that I showed at the beginning of this video, you'll work a total of 15 rounds of red. Or if you want a taller bag, you can work a total of 28 rounds. Here's a quick picture of the taller bag next to the shorter bag. I have finished 15 rows of the sweater portion, and now I'm just going to change colors during my slip stitch to the white so that we'll be working the snowman's head. So just pull through the white to create that slip stitch. And then we're basically going to repeat the same rows in white. We're going to chain 1 and turn and half double crochet in the next 84 stitches or in every stitch around. And I do apologize, I know white's hard to see on camera, but it was a snowman, so that was really hard to avoid. So we're just going to continue repeating the same row until we have a total of 10 rows in white. So just the exact same rows we worked in the red, we're just now working them in white until you have 10 rows. Now we are going to chain 1 and turn and start making our handle in this row. We are first going to half double crochet into the first 12 stitches. Once we have 12 stitches, now we're going to create the handle by chaining 18. When you have 18, we are going to skip 18 stitches. So just count over 18 stitches and then half double crochet to the 19th stitch. So we've skipped 18. Now counting the half double crochet we're making right now, we are going to half double crochet 24 stitches on this side of the bag. Here are our 24 stitches, and now we are going to make another handle, and we're going to do this by chaining 18. Once your 18 chain are made, once again we are going to skip 18 stitches. Once you found your 19th stitch, so we skipped 18, we will half double crochet into that 19th stitch. Including the half double crochet we just made, we are going to half double crochet 12 stitches. And that will take us to the very beginning of this round. When you reach the end of the round, we are just going to slip stitch to the very first half double crochet. Now we're on to round 12 for the head section. In this round, we are going to half double crochet. So we're going to chain one and turn and half double crochet into the first 12 stitches. When you get to the 12th stitch, it's a little hard to find. It's actually right here. It kind of looks a little bit like a chain, but it isn't. So now what we will do is we will work 18 half double crochets around this big chain space. So I'm just going to yarn over, go into the big hole, pull up a loop, and create a half double crochet. And then I will just work a total of 18 half double crochets. Once you've worked the 18 half double crochets in the chain space, now we will just work another 24 half double crochets into the next 24 stitches. This will get us all the way around to our next large chain space, and in this chain space we'll work another 18 half double crochets. And then just work your stitches into the large chain space. You can work it into the individual chains, but I just find doing it this way a little easier. Once you've worked all 18 half double crochets into the chain space, we're just going to finish up the row with another 12 half double crochets into the next 12 stitches. Once you reach the end of the row, just slip stitch to the very first half double crochet. For the head row 13, all we're going to do is chain one and turn, and then we're going to half double crochet in every stitch across. It'll be a total of 84 half double crochets, but it's just going to be worked just like the majority of the rows in this project, just working a half double crochet in each stitch around. As you work this row, you'll see that this has thickened up our handles. You could work a few extra rows if you want even thicker handles, but for me this is good enough, so I'm just going to slip stitch to the very first stitch and fasten off. And here you have the base of our bag. You'll notice that it is not a flat bottom bag yet, but we are going to fix that. But first, let's make the face of our snowman. Take your charcoal yarn and we are going to make the eyes for our snowman. Make a slip knot, leaving about a 6-inch yarn end, and then insert your hook. Chain 1, take your yarn end, and wrap it around your thumb. This is my way of creating a magic circle. We are going to be working our stitches into this circle we just created and the yarn end. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into this circle, make sure you're going under 2 strands of yarn, yarn over, pull your loop through the circle, yarn over, and create your half double crochet. Now we are going to work a few more half double crochets into this magic circle. We will be working a total of 9 half double crochets. Once you have 9 half double crochets, we're going to take our yarn end and pull it tight to tighten up the center of our circle. Then we're just going to slip stitch to the very first half double crochet. You're going to want to make 2 eyes, and if you like, you can also make 2 in a accent color to use as buttons using this exact same little pattern. Make sure you leave enough of a yarn end because we will use it to sew it to the snowman's face. So there is your little eye. Now let's grab some orange yarn and we're going to make a carrot nose for our snowman. Make a slip knot and insert your hook. We are going to chain 12 and this nose is going to be worked all as one row. Once you have 12 chains, find the 4th chain from your hook. We are going to double crochet into that 4th chain. I am going to work into the back bumps of the chain, but that is completely up to you. I just think it looks nicer. So we're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, and then we're going to double crochet into the next 3 chain. So 1, 2, and 3. So right now we actually have 4 double crochets. Now we are going to work a half double crochet into the next 2 chain. So 1 and 2. We're going to single crochet into the next 2 chain. One and 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the very last chain to create a point, and then you can fasten off, leaving a very long yarn end, maybe 12 inches or so that you can use it to sew the nose to the front of your snowman. So I'm just going to take my yarn end and pull it through the very last loop on the hook. And there is our little carrot nose. So here we are jumping back to our finished bag, and we are just going to use our yarn ends to sew the 2 eyes and the nose to the top of our snowman bag. And what I like to do is I like to use the handle to help me figure out where the center of the face is going to be. So I'll just figure out where I want them and then use my yarn needle to sew them in place. And I went ahead and made 2 more eye patterns in a bright color, and I'm using these as buttons on the sweater because I think that would be cute. So threading my yarn needle with the yarn end, I'm just going to work back and forth and attach the eyes and the nose to my snowman. When I get done with the eyes, I'm just going to do the exact same thing with the nose, just working around the edge of the nose and securing it to the bag. This bag could make a really cute little purse, or you could use it as a reusable gift bag. It's just a fun little project. So here I have everything sewn in place. For the buttons, I just used a little crisscross in the center to make them look like buttons. But as you notice, this is not a flat bottom bag yet, so that is our next step. We are going to take our bag and turn it inside out. And we're going to use a really nice little sewing technique to give this a flat bottom. So once you have it all turned inside out, we are going to find our side seam and find our bottom seam. We're going to open up the bag so that we lay the side seam on top of the bottom seam in order to create a little point. Once we create this point, we are just going to use a ruler to measure up until we reach a spot that is 4 inches wide. So I am going to use my little llama ruler, and I'm just going to find a cross section that is about 4 inches wide. If you're counting from the bottom, I noticed that it's about the 4th or 5th stitch up that we want to work across from. So you can either measure about an inch and a half up, or you can find the point that is 4 inches across. And we are simply going to sew a stitch back and forth. I like to start in the center, back and forth to create a seam here. And just basically sewing and basically nipping off this corner is going to give us a flat bottom for our bag. I will say, I didn't notice this until later, that by doing this, my very bottom button is going to be on the bottom of the bag. So if you're making buttons, consider only making one button. But I'm just going to work back and forth. So I'm just going to speed this up really quick to get through the sewing section. But the reason I like to start in the center is because I'll go to one side, back through the center, to the other side, back to the center, and then I'll use the 2 yarn ends and knot them together. Knot once and twice. And then the next thing I'm actually going to do is take my yarn in with the needle, weave that up to the point, take our point and fold it onto the bottom of the bag, and just stitch it in place. So just working, trying to keep it right at the center seam. I'm just going to make a few stitches to stitch this in place to secure it to the bottom of the bag, and it's going to help everything stand up straight. This bag is not stiff, but will stand up on its own when it is not stuffed with things, and it's just going to depend on what you put in the bag, on if it's going to stand up, continue standing up, or if it's going to flop over, just like a regular paper bag. It only has so much stability. So I just finished off there, and you can see the nice little flat bottom that it has created. I just need to repeat the process on the other side, and our bag will be done. So I'll turn it back inside out, create the same seamed point on the other side, and we'll be done. Here's my bag all completed. We have a nice flat 4-inch bottom, and as I mentioned, my little button ended up on the bottom, so I'd advise to put those buttons a little bit higher if you're going to do the buttons, but otherwise your little Snowman tote bag is completely done. So I hope you enjoyed the pattern, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching my crochet tutorials. You can find the written pattern on my website, and you can find 2 other designs, a reindeer and a penguin, on there as well.